Welcome, everybody. So I have here three wonderful collaborators of In Creative Company, and I am absolutely thrilled to just tell you about my experience with them so far. So our three presenters today. The first one is Emma, and so happy to have Emma. Emma is a new member with us, and she is a brand strategist as well as a consultant. And if you didn't know, she's from Canada, so coming all the way from Canada. Very happy to have you here in the States. And so Emma is super creative. What I loved about the way that she explained creativity was expressiveness. And so when you're expressive, you're able to be your full self. I feel like that is a very nice representation of who Emma is. And I'm excited to see your portfolio. And second, we have Audrey. So Audrey has been working with us on a few projects, and they're photography and graphic design based. So super creative, really can take a lead role on direction and has a very nice vision. Super excited to see what she has to present today. Audrey is currently in New York City area and has been coming to our events. If you happen to come to our Fab Friday field trip or our co-working sprint, she takes pictures, has taken pictures at our Fab Friday field trips, and is always really hands-on. So excited to see that. And then we have Chadvi, our copywriter, who is honestly super skilled when you need copy and you need SEO and you need it to have that certain finessing and really brings out all the ideas. And that I feel like is huge, especially when you want that excitedness, you want that expressiveness in copy. Copy can be kind of a bore, to be honest. It could really drag on, but hers does not. So very happy to say that, and have had wonderful experiences with really out of the box thinking. So congratulations, all of you, for this first feature. This is the first start of Creative Portfolio Showcase. And so I am going to pass the mic to our first presenter, Emma. So Emma, feel free to share your screen, and then I will pin you. Anyone has any questions? We're going to hold the questions to the end.
So, hi everyone, I am Emma, and today we're going to be talking about brand strategy, really the power of storytelling in brand strategy. So to give you a really quick overview, I'm going to talk about the power of storytelling in your brand. We're going to talk about this project that I did for brand strategy, and then how you can start incorporating your brand stories. I'm going to quickly go over this one. This is a quote that has really stood out for me. It was written by a football player who wrote a book, and he said, "I want to show what it's like for me to struggle through a season and to show my teammates in all of their dimensions." And that really is what you want to do when it comes to your brand strategy. You want to be able to understand who it is that you're speaking to, the mission that you have, and the vision, the reason why you're doing what you're doing, in a way that actually resonates with the people that you're trying to target. For this particular project, I was working with a sports management company. What we were doing was creating a presentation. This sports management company really focuses on building a brand for their athletes and also doing the charitable side with it. So this particular presentation was for a charity activation. It was a program to help at-risk students to better understand different career paths, particularly in sports. So the three people that were involved was the founder. They had an athlete who was involved who plays for the CFL. I'm out in Canada. And they also had his coach, who was somebody very pivotal for him in his career. The longer term scope of this project itself was to show students different potential routes. It was also to show this athlete how he could help to build his personal brand, in particular by engaging with the community. And it was a way to gain inbound leads for the sports management company. Something that they were wanting to do was to create a program to have interns come in, as well as gain more traction with new up and coming talent from the athlete side. The first phase that we had focused on was really understanding the background and the future vision. This was a really unique project because I was working with 3 different bodies. And in that, it was the sports management company, what they had stood for, the athlete, the team that he was working for, and then the coach, the school that he was working for, and of course, the institution, the charity. So understanding the mission, the vision, the different offerings that were at play, going over what separates the sports management company from competitors in the space, understanding how they had done outreach before. So what community activations had they done? How was it that they were signing different clients? What was the process behind all of this? Understanding who the ideal fan or avatar was, and then better knowing what each of these 4 players really were standing for, and what it was that they wanted to use their platforms for beyond just a way to gain income. The second phase was understanding the objectives of this particular program. So what was the number one thing that they wanted their audience to walk away knowing? In this case, it was better understanding the fact that you can come from a challenging situation, fight through adversity, and really make something for yourself. It was seeing the stories of other people and understanding that it is possible for you, even if you hear no a couple of times along the way. And then the action item at the end. So the next step for them was really chatting through what these different potential opportunities were and how they could all collaborate and get each other there. Involved was putting 3 different stories together, each individual. So the CEO of the sports management company, he came from a tough upbringing. A lot of his friends were getting in trouble with the law, and he reached a turning point where either he could continue along that path or he could do something different. He had a love for sports, so he went into a deep dive on Google. And what he learned from that was a lot of the people who get jobs in sports are people who go into communications, they go into journalism, or they go into writing. So he took that path with it. The coach was somebody who he was from Haiti, moved to Montreal. He had a tough and challenging upbringing as well. And what he had done was taking the path of social work. He worked in corrections and then decided that he wanted to go into teaching, where he ended up running a football program to really help students before it's too late and before they're already in the systems. And then the third story was the athlete. He had always wanted to move into a better neighborhood, and he worked really hard before school, during school, and after school to be able to get there. He walked home on a different route every single day, so that way he could see and really visualize all of these different potentials for him, see himself living the life that he wanted. He got a lot of rejections before finally hearing his yes. In the presentation itself, I focused on CEO, coach, and then athlete. And the order of all of this is important because it does tell the story. And then the next stage was to go a step further and develop a brand and communications strategy that he could use in the future for sponsorship, partnerships, and community activation. I'm going to pause and stop this screen share to show you the deck that I put together for them. Okay. So as you can see, the branding here was focused on the sports management company's branding. So we went in to do different stories on all three of the men involved, and you can see them here in this picture. I followed the same pattern in terms of their upbringing, what the turning point was for them, the research and work that they had done, the lessons that they had learned along the way. And that kind of summarizes it. So I am going to stop and pass the floor back to Drea.
Wow, great job. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was great. So I'm gonna hop right to it and pass the mic to Audrey. So Audrey, step right up. You are next. I'm gonna pin and spotlight you, and you can take it from here.
All right, let me just share my screen. Okay. Okay, so can everyone see that? Good to go. Oh, you can see like my whole screen, can't you? Oh no. All right, we'll just do it this way. All right, so while this is being pulled up, there we go. Awesome. My name is Audrey Tappan, and I'm a fashion and branding photographer in Brooklyn. And my main focus is bringing brands to life, focusing on young and fresh brands that really want to push the boundaries and stand out from the crowd, because we all know you only get like 3 seconds to capture someone's attention when you're on social media. So here's a quick look into what I would typically do. This is some architecture photography that I've done just on my own. It's something that I'm really passionate about. And then of course we have products that I've worked with in the past and what my fashion photography looks like. So going into this project, I want to lay out who, what, and how. Who being the client, what being what they need, and what they're trying to get from me to elevate their brand, and how I executed it. So we're going to start with the who, and that's going to be a editing software called Facet AI. So they are kind of a competitor to Photoshop. It is an online program, so you don't have to worry about taking up space on your computer. And they boast having all of the same editing tools as Photoshop for the most part, while also incorporating that sort of filter aspect to it. You can even use, I could create a filter or something that you can action that you could use. And it's sort of this community-based platform for editing your photos, which I thought was really interesting. And they were looking for creatives that are able to create work using their platform to show others what was possible. So they asked for me to tell my story. They commissioned digital works that incorporate Facet in some way. Although we are a content-aware image editor at our core, digital art is inherently a rich and variegated medium, and we're open to submissions of all forms and formats. Creatives today use Facet to post-process fashion, portraits, architectural photography, make mixed media collages and high-impact punchy animations, and blend oil painting with photography. So a lot of those things I do. I do fashion, portraits, architecture. I add graphic design to a lot of my photos. So I felt really drawn to this program, and they were offering grants to these artists. So I thought, why not apply to it and help them elevate their brand? So they were giving out a $500 grant, which is not a lot at all, but it did fund the project for us to get a studio, rent clothing for the shoot, paying talent, and paying myself. Usually paying yourself comes first, but in a situation like this, spreading the wealth, though not a lot of it, was really important to me. And in exchange, I only needed to provide 5 edited images for them. Now we're going to go into the how this all came about. So I started with sourcing a model. This is Alexandra Newby. I will share all the social media at the end of my presentation, but she had a look that was a little unconventional. She wasn't your standard model, but she still had the sharp features I was looking for. And generally, the stuff that she'd done in the past was aligning with what I wanted to do. We also had Felicia. She was our makeup artist and our stylist, who also lives in Brooklyn, and she runs Costume Closet NYC. They have a massive selection of accessories and clothing. If you're looking to do a photo shoot or even go to an event yourself, she's fantastic. And third, we had to get an assistant, of course. Yelly Belly was the perfect fit for the role. She was able to really just bring some spunk to the photo shoot. She even stepped in to do photos of myself while we were doing it. So this team really meshed well together. It was really important to me to find people that aligned with what I wanted to do to make the project better, even though it was just on a grant budget. We found a location that gave us plenty of space to spread out and focus on the project without compromising our abilities to create. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm on a budget, I need a smaller space, and that's just not something I'm willing to compromise on. So this well-lit, gorgeous space, it worked perfect for us. So first step when I plan a project is the color palette. That's the most important to me. I'm a color holic. It has to stand out and has to be punchy. So I found this online. I loved it. It had a nice combination of cold and warm colors, which I was really drawn to. And then we went on to the makeup inspiration. We wanted something that was sort of color block-esque. We didn't want the beauty look. We wanted it to be simple. We were also doing multiple looks. So I think that's something to consider when you're doing a photo shoot, because if it is lower budget and you have less time to work, you don't want to have to redo a whole face of makeup on set. So this was something we could apply, take it off really quick, and put the next look on. In terms of style inspiration, I was looking for, very colorful, contrasting stuff that you might not think even goes together, but we were going to make it fashion. So, take $5 and turn it into Vogue is kind of one of my mottos. So using a wide angle lens, really getting in there with the model, using creative angles to give a perspective that you don't normally see. When you're walking down the street and you see someone in fashion clothing, you're not crawling down onto the sidewalk and looking up at them. It's just a different point of view. So if you're ready, I'm going to show you what we created. It was 4 separate looks of the same model, sourced from Costume Closet for our clothing. We went on Amazon. We even used yarn for some of the hair accessories. So I always encourage people to get creative and don't do what everyone else is doing, because you'll be really surprised at how it comes out. So here's our first look. We were going for kind of a 80s disco club alien kind of look. So just messy. The props we made ourselves. And I just picked up clothes and I'm like, blue leggings, green bodysuit, they have to go together. Doesn't seem like they would, but we made it work. So we worked to produce 3 to 5 images per look. So the grant only required 5. So I selected a handful, or like a few from each look, but I took the creative liberty to just do more than I was asked because I had the opportunity to utilize the space. Sometimes doing more is going to benefit you. You don't have to give them all of the work, but it's something I could put in my portfolio. Here we have the second look, was kind of, extraterrestrial fashion model type of thing. So we just played around with lots of different accessories. Again, we made the earrings. The tasseled top is from a local artist. Moving into look 3, it was kind of a Bratz doll idea, a little bit more, like not as serious, very playful, a lot younger. again, it's keeping that yarn in the hair, but matching it with another outfit keeps the photo shoot cohesive while all the looks are different. So you'll see the Crocs in 2 outfits. You'll see the yarn in 2 of them. Color palette flows fairly well. And for this one, I used the software to do that background. So I was just using their editing software to give that funky look. Our last one was a complete 180 on terms of looks. So we wanted to do something serious and a little bit deeper tones, because I think it's important to show people I'm not just rainbow colors all the time. We can get sexy, we can get serious and sharp. And I think we really achieved that with that look. So that kind of wraps up how the project came to fruition. From them offering a grant to artists, I applied, got accepted. They basically said, do whatever you want with our software. And we were able to take that $500 and turn it into that. So again, taking $5 and turning it into Vogue. There are so many opportunities if you surround yourself with a team of creatives that support you and you support them, and everyone is trying to make the best of the situation, and you'll get the most out of it. So don't surround yourself with negative people. And that's what I do and how I do it.
Fantastic. It looks so stunning and so many different looks with all of that. It was genius. That takes a lot of know-how to make that really become the end product. So fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, it really helped, because even being on set with like Yelly, for example, she has the creative eye. So having someone to be like, wait, let's do this. It's all about the collaboration. And that's really what is important to me. So my work is created with a whole team of people behind me.
Awesome. I'm passing the mic now to Chavi. Welcome. So happy to have you and excited to hear your portfolio. I'm going to pin and you're ready to go.
Thank you. Thanks, Audrey. I feel like, you should have probably been the last one, because you were so like bright and colorful and it was so creative and it was so beautiful. And I'm just going to bring you all back to boring old SEO and writing, and it won't be that exciting, but maybe it will be useful and you can take something from it. So let me just share my screen. It says I can't share my screen. I'm sorry. Host disable participant screen sharing. Andrea?
Let's see.
I just fixed that. You should be co-host now. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay, everybody can see my screen?
Good to go.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to talk about good old SEO copywriting and marketing.
Although you might, hold on, Chavi, you might want to make it full screen. Right now we're seeing like the slide view.
Let me see.
I think in slideshow, you could press on the little caret and you could present mode.
I don't see it.
The slideshow is up on the right and is in the row near your icon picture.
Top right. You might have to take it out of screen share.
Yeah, I'm going to get out of it.
Okay.
So I just see share screen. Is there any other option?
When you click share screen, you should see that you could share like your full desktop, or you can just choose one of your tabs. Probably the best to do is your full desktop.
Yeah. Like this?
Okay, and then on the top right, see how there's a yellow share button. The one next to that is slideshow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about doing that on Zoom. Sorry, being an idiot.
No, but not that the one to the left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, I have to go in and out. So Sorry, guys. So yeah, I'm just gonna end up talking about SEO copywriting and marketing. And instead of talking too much in depth of the actual client and what we discovered about the client, I want to bring you more into the process of how I work and how I find the information that I find and what the results are based on that. So the client that I am going to talk about is called Vero. Vero is a brand identity consultant. So she does a lot of brand design, she does website design, and her focus is female entrepreneurs. And that's the whole thing that we've worked together to discover. So this is her website. I can send this over to you afterwards. So I helped her build her entire website. But today we are going to talk a little bit more about her SEO content strategy and how we're trying to make her get more organic traffic based on the information that she gives me. So first of all, what we do is I have an onboarding folder for her. I put all her admin stuff in there so that if she needs to see any admin stuff, contract related, invoice related, or any emails that we have exchanged, all of that will be in her onboarding folder. The next thing that happens after that is I will usually have a client call, and then we will go into her copy and marketing questionnaire together, and we will kind of like go deeper into it, ask questions. She can like talk a little bit so I can get a better understanding of her vision, of her clients and all that kind of stuff. Right after that, I go into my little cave and I will do some strategy work. I usually do an audit. I try to find her competitors, the competitor analysis, and then I would do some keyword research using specific tools. So there's a vast like there's so many choices when it comes to keyword research tools, but you know, you can start from Google if you don't want to go invest too much time into keywords. So you could do Google, you could do Uber Suggest, you could do SEMrush, you can do there's just so many. Keyword Everywhere, which is a free Chrome extension that you can put on your Google. So many things that you could do. And then based on that, all that information, I get the results of what it is that she's looking for, what it is that the competitors are doing, if there's any loopholes and any gaps, content gaps there that we can actually work on. And all of that has to tie in with her avatar. So usually I would create her avatar and understand exactly who this avatar is. So really create a person. And also look at things like the demographics, if it makes sense to look at some external problem that this person might be facing, but also the internal struggles that this person might be facing. So does this person have any limiting beliefs, for example, that we can kind of use and that can kind of help us in terms of content, but also help in terms of sales strategy as well. So understanding that, understanding their vulnerabilities, understanding what their philosophy is, so what are their core values. And I also like to add, like at the end, a little personal quote that I think would work for them. So once all of that fun stuff is done, you know, we all do well, most of us do like, you know, a little bit of brand strategy and stuff here. So we all have a good understanding of this already. So now we get into really like writing that SEO content. SEO content obviously will be based on, as you know, what it is that people actually searching on Google and trying to fit that content on our website. But that's just one part of it. The second part of it also has to do with how likely are you attracting the right target market and how primed are they to convert? Because there's so many times that people will create blogs only to have people come on the blog and then drop off. Nothing happens after that. This person was probably not the ideal client anyway. This person didn't really have a CTA at the end of that blog to have any sense of direction of what to do next. So we want to avoid that. A very nice blog would have really good content, useful content, but will also have a very strong call to action, because the whole point of writing this content is that you want this person to either become a brand ambassador for you or eventually become your client. So when we do all that kind of work, the way that I understand this and the way that I continue to improve these blogs is by doing these quarterly check-ins with my clients. So that's the reason why you have this very boring document in front of you right now that I'm going to go through, because I'm going to walk you through what I usually talk about with an actual client. So this is an example of a strategy session that I did with this client, Vero. So the first thing we do is, so this is assuming that I've already written the content before and we're doing a check-in after a couple of months. So the first thing I do is, okay, tell me a little bit, how are you feeling? Second is, let's review the new website. You know, if you've made any changes, let's look at it together. Third thing is, let's look at that blog that we've published a couple of months ago. Let's see if we have to review anything on these blogs. And then let's see if we can change an opt-in. So at the end, what's your CTA? What's your call to action? Did you want to have a downloadable? Or we can call it an opt-in. And let's see how primed these people are. And then moving forward, what do you want to do next? What are the other content gaps that we've discovered? And what are the future blogs that we want to do? So freestyling, you know, everybody knows about this. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. And then looking at the website, the interesting thing that I want to talk to you about is this one. So once we're doing that competitor analysis, and Vera was pivoting into more female entrepreneurs as her main client. So the important part of my job as an SEO expert is to look at other people who are also focusing on women-owned businesses and see what content gaps they have that Vero can kind of sneak her way into. So we look at the things that are working for them and we try to find something close or similar so that Vero can also kind of grab stuff that these people are probably looking for, but this website hasn't provided yet. So here we have two examples, K-Design and Hello Ginger Creative, which both these websites were ranking very high for the keywords branding and web design for female entrepreneurs, which was the main keyword for Vero. So what I do after that is look a little bit at the brands, at her actual blogs that are ranking really high at the moment. Her most searched blog, and this is a blog that I've written myself, is how to rebrand on Instagram. So we found that this was an actual blog that wasn't just popular, it was drawing in tons of traffic to the point that her organic search was reaching the 80% of her total traffic to her website. So the majority of her traffic at this point was organic, and a lot of her clients were coming through organically because of these blogs that we're writing. So now we found this and we were like, okay, we need to create a great way to convert these people into clients. So how are we going to do that? So we decided to create a lead-in magnet. And this lead magnet that we created was called, this one. So we created a couple. We created the ultimate guide to rebrand. I'm just going to make this bigger so you can see. So we created a couple of freebies. So we created the ultimate brand guide to rebrand on Instagram. Then we created 3 major branding mistakes. And then we kind of privatized her library so that you couldn't really get access to a lot of her resources and her blogs unless you gave your email address. So when we did these things, we saw a massive increase in conversions on these 2 freebies, privatizing the library, and the 3 major branding mistakes. Now, the reason why I believe the 3 major branding mistakes converted better than the ultimate guide to rebrand on IG, I think it's because the first opt-in that you're going to give to a potential client, your target audience, has to be very low commitment. It has to be very easy for them. So they do not want to download an ebook. They do not want to download pages and pages and pages of content because they know they will never read it. The ultimate guide is not specific. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if this is going to be 10 pages, 2 pages, you have no idea. Whereas the 3 major branding mistakes was low commitment, only 3 key points. You knew exactly what you were getting and you knew exactly if this was what you were looking for. And that was the reason why I think this one performed better. So that was all very exciting because from that, we saw that she actually got, if I'll just go back to the screen here, she actually got, in terms of acquisition, she got 5 clients through that lead-in, or only. So that was pretty amazing. Noting that we've only had that for about 3 months. So in 3 months, she got 5 clients. So that was pretty great. Yeah, so I think I know I was a little bit all over the place, but I just wanted to show you exactly my thought process, which can be a little bit messy, but it makes sense to me. And then basically when we go over the blogs, what worked, what didn't work, what lead magnet works, you kind of already know what you have to focus on. So now we know we need to only do stuff related to the content pillar, rebranding, Instagram, rebranding, social media, female entrepreneurs, Instagram. So now we kind of understand what umbrella we want to use. And then we also know that the 3 branding mistakes really works. So in future, over the next 12 months that I'll be working with her, we will be creating even more and more content around this, to the point that the latest one that we've made, which is this one, called Introduce New Logo on Instagram, 10 Top Tips. See, again, this is related to the whole Instagram content pillar that we created. And this is now, after only 2 months of being online, her second best performing blog. So you already start to see the trend, right? So that's why I wanted to talk about all these things with you, because I want you to understand that sometimes you don't need to keep producing content. You just need to know what to look at and do testing, and then just go straight into that one content pillar and look for all the little kind of other aspects of that one content pillar that you can cover to get the best value. Yeah. And that's about it. So I can share Vera's blog if you want to look at all the other blogs that I've written for her. I can do that after the call. Yeah. And if you have any other questions, anytime.
Thank you so much. There's just so much knowledge to know. It's amazing. I really appreciate you having so much detail. And we are going to move on to our networking portion. But real quick, for all of you on Facebook Live, I'm going to do a quick follow up on our next event. So this is in Creative Company. I'm Drea. Yeli is the co-founder, and we are going to be hosting these events and a few more. So this Friday actually is Fab Friday field trip over in Luna Park in Coney Island. If you're looking for new headshots or just some fun photos, maybe for your blog, you can use Audrey's whole photo session as inspiration. That's definitely where that's at. It's super low cost, $55, and you get a whole photo session. You also get to make your own content, meet us, etc. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, that's this Friday, Coney Island. Sign up on our website to claim your spot. And then just moving on to October, we have some fabulous things lined up. Co-working sprints. This is a member only event, but definitely something to check out if you are in Creative Company, or maybe you're just interested. It's something to reach out about and join. It's going to be in person as well as online. It's a hybrid event, and it's a great way to connect and also be productive. October 26th is the next time we do Creative Portfolio Showcase. So the event you saw today is another one on October 26th. We have 3 new collaborators to showcase their work. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to learn a lot more. And I definitely feel like this is something to keep showing up to every single time, is a new collaborator, new experience, something new for you to learn and for us to share. So that wraps it up. Again, in creative.co, that's where you'll find this information and you'll sign up, etc. I really appreciate your time today. Everyone that's on the meeting now, stay on. This is the networking portion. But everybody else, thanks for watching.